All right. Hi, my friends. I am here with a dear friend and a presenter from last year's Radiant Aging Summit. Backed by popular demand, Dr. Susan Lange is going to be talking about the power of your face, shifting from trauma that ages to radiance that transforms. Do you know the trauma shows up on your face? It does. And Dr. Lange is going to share that with you at the summit. And I asked if she would pop on real quick and tell you a little bit more about her presentation at the upcoming Radiant Aging Summit. So without further ado, Dr. Lange, so great to see you. Can you share a little bit more about your presentation with us?
Yes, and I am so excited and inspired to be back east because I had such a blast last time. And it reminded me that back in the early 1990s, I was teaching a class called The Lazy Way to Looking Good. And it was based on what I learned from my first Chinese medicine teacher in 1974, believe it or not. And I would teach it. It was like a gift to the community in Santa Monica, in our great big clinic. And we had the local seniors and we had our patients and our staff would come. And we'd all be, rubbing our faces and laughing away. And I remember particularly one dear old lady, very wrinkled, like a little wrinkled apple. And she'd be rubbing and she'd be making all these kind of funny faces. And we would be laughing our heads off. And yet there was a challenge. And what happened was privately, my patients would tell me, even though we were doing all this stuff to feel good on the outside and even got written up in a magazine called Let's Live, they hated themselves. They hated themselves on the inside, or they hated stuff about their face. And that sent me on a long journey. It sent me on a journey going deeper and deeper into what was the gap between outside and inside. And I have to confess, and this is the first time East I've ever shared this on camera, that I hated myself too. And ABC television came to film us in our great big clinic in Santa Monica. And they were filming a section on alternative medicine and acupuncture. And when I saw the TV show, I died. I was cringing inside. I hated how I looked. I hated how I felt. I was like ashamed. I was embarrassed. But I never told anyone. And in you calling forth this Radiant Aging Summit, it's got me kind of thinking really much deeper. Why am I passionate about this? Why am I teaching this? Every time I think I'd stop because I had so many other things to do, much more serious stuff, it would be called forth. And somebody told me about this cosmetic surgeon called Dr. Maxwell Maltz. Have you ever heard of him?
No.
Oh, nor had I. And he was a surgeon in the 1960s in L.A., working with celebrity patients. And what happened, he did lots of reconstructive surgery. And he discovered that no matter what a beautiful job he did on the outside, his patients still hated themselves. And I was like, oh my gosh, whoa, he was even going much deeper than me. He was cutting people's faces. And he stopped practicing cosmetic surgery. And he went on a long, deep journey, innermost journey. And he developed a system called psycho-cybernetics that you might have heard of. And even Tony Robbins actually used a lot of his system, which was working with the innermost core. So I realized that I was on a similar track to him, unbeknownst. And in order to get you started for the Radiant Aging Summit, get you prepared, I'm going to give you 2 tips, okay? And the first one is, if you even catch yourself judging yourself, stop. Okay, so I want everyone to do that. If you catch yourself judging yourself, stop. And the reason is the cell danger response. And you probably know all about that, Eve, because Dr. Robert Navio comes from San Diego. And what that's about is the cells shut down when you judge yourself. And those little mitochondria that are your little powerhouses that keep you young, they shut down and then you start to age. So stop judging yourself. Okay, number 1. Tip number 2. I want you to catch yourself every time you look in the mirror, or even actually just, use this as an example. And here I'm going to demonstrate. So here's my mirror. Yeah. So look at yourself and look at what's your immediate first expression or first response. Is it, or is it neutral? Or is it, oh, I hate myself, ooh? Or is it, ooh, I like that person. I like that woman in the mirror. Ooh. So catch yourself and you can make a choice, okay? And you can start teaching yourselves differently. And I have to confess now, I teach a lot on Zoom, a lot of videos, and I would never have believed that from those old days when I cringed with that ABC TV. Now I look at those videos and I go, ooh, I like her. I kind of start to smile. I go, ooh, oh, that's me. So if I can do it, you can do it. So I encourage you to join us at the Radiant Aging Summit. Come to my presentation. I'm curious to know what steps you're doing between now and then, and we will be doing more steps then. So remember that connecting with your face lovingly and compassionately has the power to change the world.
Oh my goodness. I love that. Train yourselves. You're training yourselves. I love those two tips. If that's what you get in this intro, imagine what you're going to get in a 1-hour live presentation. You can go to her website and check out her trainings, rejuvenatemyface.com. She has trainings, some are evergreen, and this may be the thing that you've been waiting for. If this is a tapping you on the shoulder, listen to that little nudge. And then we both look forward to seeing you, my friends, at the Radiant Aging Summit.
Bye.
For now, bye.